What's it called when you kill your friend? Homicide. So hi everyone, sorry for the bit of location change. I have to go somewhere in like half an hour, so I have my phone plugged in, and the only place it can reach my plug is if I'm sitting on the floor, so here are some shelves you've never seen before. Today I'm going to be doing a review on Solitaire by Alice Oseman. I received this book for review from HarperCollins, so thank you very much. This book is actually already published, so a ton of people have already read it. It's from a UK author, so it was published in England, I believe. So if you're from the UK, you might have seen this one around, but this is just now being published in America. This story is about a girl that is a year 12 student in England, and she's a little bit, I don't want to say suicidal, but she's definitely kind of down in the dumps, doesn't have too many friends. The friends she does have, she never really hangs out with them. Just kind of, you know, that type of person. This year, she meets a couple of new people. She starts making friendships with them, but the main point of this book is that one day at her school, she discovers a blog called Solitaire, and the entire deal with Solitaire is that they're pulling pranks on the school, and it's kind of a mystery of who's behind Solitaire and what do they want. Solitaire ends up turning into something it wasn't supposed to be, and it gets really dark, and so they have to try and stop it, as well as Tori kind of crawling out of her shell and making a friend. I was gonna say friends, but it's literally one person, so a friend. I gave this book 4 stars. Here is why. I think my main deal with this book is that the only people who are going to like it are the people that can relate to it. It's kind of hard for me to describe Tori. She's an introvert, she blogs all day, she's very cynical, and if you can relate to that, you are going to love this book. Me, I'm not really that type of person, so it was hard for me to see on her level and I couldn't really relate to her. But I could totally see how this can be someone else's cup of tea. The writing is very conversational, so it's as if Tori's speaking to you. I'm not the biggest fan of that type of writing, but again, there are people that love it. Kind of going off of that, this is a book that's written by a 21-year-old. It's done very well because of that. Because it's a young person narrating a young person, it's very realistic and believable. Whereas a ton of YA books are published by, no offense, like middle-aged women, and they're trying so hard to encompass the voice of this teenager, and it doesn't work a lot of the time, but this definitely works. A small comment about the writing, I don't know if this will be edited out because this is a uncorrected proof, but a lot of the characters say a lot, like whenever they're speaking, they're awkward characters, so they're like, yeah. Every time there's a speaking scene, it's in at least 5 of those dialogues, and I don't know if that's intentional, but it just kind of got on my nerves after a little while, so that's just, again, that might be edited out. Now I'm going to talk about Tori a little bit. I already touched on how I couldn't really relate to her that much, but I'm going to go kind of more specifically into that. My main deal is I just could not relate with her. There were parts of me that could empathize with her, but I couldn't really see eye to eye with her. For a lot of the books, she has what I like to call special flower syndrome. She just kind of goes on this huge spiel like, oh, I'm so different from everyone. Everyone around me is an idiot. No one understands me, and that's kind of like a cliche YA thing. It's a relatable problem to have. Every time I see it now, I'm like, ugh. So that was really annoying and kind of brought the book down a little bit for me. Because in most books I read, that's just at the beginning, and then they have like some characteral, that's not a word. They develop past it, but in this one it kind of sticks around the entire book. Additionally, there's this one scene where she's talking about girls from her school, and she's like, oh, all the popular girls are so annoying, they're the worst. But then she goes on to say like, oh, all the nerdy girls are so annoying, they're the worst. And it's like, she hates everyone. And I know, again, it's a cynical, you have to be able to relate to it thing, but she's just so full of hatred, and it's almost like misogyny during that scene because she's like, oh, they're so annoying, I can't believe those girls are idiots because they do that. And it was really frustrating for me to read that. She's also very violent. Like, there are several times in this book where she's like, I want to shoot them and then shoot myself. And it's like, calm down! Also, just side note, this is like the thing that just like I gave up trying to like her, is she doesn't like Disney. That was my breaking point. Again, could not for the life of me see eye to eye with her. That doesn't mean I don't respect the choices she made and things she said. I could totally see, because of her personality, how that affected her actions, and I, again, respected her for that. Kind of going off characters, let's talk about the side characters. So our main side characters are her group of friends she calls the Lot, and it's just a couple of girls, Becky, Evelyn, Lauren. She's mean to them like she is with everyone. Also in this book, there's her childhood friend Luke, who she kind of fell out of touch with whenever they went to separate schools, and then he comes back to her school, so they're kind of reconnecting. It's a very subtle friendship that you don't really get to see a lot, but that's one person. But then there's our main man, Michael, and he is a new guy that comes to their school, and he is all, well, I'm not going to say all about friendship, but he's the light of this book, basically. There is Tori's brother, Charlie, who is probably the best part about this book, in my opinion, because he is gay. He definitely cuts, but there's something mentally, possibly depression-y going on with him too. That was awesome. It was handled so realistically and so maturely. It's not even the main plot, it's just kind of like a side thing. It's a very real problem that usually isn't talked about in books unless it's the main focus. So for it to be in the book, in a gay character who has a boyfriend, I'm so glad it at least shows that it exists. I like how it wasn't the main thing, but it was still in the book. But like I was saying, all the side characters are just extraordinarily well-rounded, and there's so many layers to them. Like, every character is interesting. Just, you want to get to know them, and I like that they're kind of explored throughout the course of the book. Now for my thoughts about Solitaire, because mostly I've been talking about characters and stuff, because the characters are my favorite part of the book, because quite frankly, I think the entire deal about the Solitaire blog was kind of unnecessary and far-fetched. I think Solitaire from the beginning was kind of cheesy and unbelievable because they were able to hack like an entire school system to do things and prank the school, and I just don't think I couldn't see that ever happening. I couldn't really see the point, and I don't think you're really supposed to, but still, it was just kind of like, it was happening, but then you're like, but why? They're organizing all these events, and then people are getting hurt because of it, and I couldn't rationalize why it was happening. I was able to guess who was behind it. I wasn't able to guess why they were doing it, but that reason was something I think that was kind of a little bit dumb. In the end, it didn't really ruin the book. It was just something that I didn't really like about it. This book, like I've been saying, would just be so great if it focused on family and friends rather than this blog prank entity thing. But there is a very modern aspect to this book where they talk about like Tumblr and Twitter. Like, obviously I said Solitaire's a blog, so it talks about blogging a lot and like lots of references in the now toward social media and things like that, and I said way earlier that some older authors try and do that and it just sounds so lame and corny, but this book handles it really well. Sometimes it seemed like it was trying too hard, like it would be like, oh, I stalked you on Facebook, and you could kind of tell that was just slid in there to make it seem like more of a like teens will relate to this type of thing, but sometimes it came off a little bit like that. But otherwise, I really liked how it integrated all that new good stuff we got going 2015. And that's pretty much all my thoughts about the book. This book comes out at the end of March, and I highly recommend you go and grab this because I think a lot of people will be able to relate to this. Anyway, that's about it. So thank you all for watching this video. I will see you next time. Bye.